Gateway Greening, we are a community. We work with children, we work with adults. We have gardens in St. Louis County and St. Louis City, so we transcend all these boundaries that tend to divide people.
When a vacant lot becomes a garden, people see activity and they see that there's folks here that do things together and care. When you drive by a community garden and you see that there's people who are outside working together.
Community gardening is vital to help establish a community feeling, a connectedness in the community.
They're just vacant lots. There used to be a house there. It's no longer a productive place. But because of the community gardeners' interest in creating a project and because of Gateway Greening's support of the project, they've become centers of community.
A house burnt down in back of me, and I saw it as a great opportunity to put in a garden. It really pulled our block together for a long time. Gateway Greening granted us several truckloads of dirt, so we were able to fill the beds. We were able to green up the area. So what once was a big, hard, concrete, water-resistant ground turned into something that was full and alive and vibrant.
There's been hundreds of people who have gardened in this vacant lot that have been empty for 30 years. That's very exciting because everybody learns something every year, whether they're a new gardener or an old one.
It's just been a welcome and a refreshing place where I can go where they got to be themselves and I got adult company and conversation where I constantly learn something.
You could pickle sunflowers if you wanted to. Pickling. Anyone in the city of St. Louis, they see a vacant lot or they have an empty field at their school. They are able to use our resources to apply for a garden and to make that vision of growing food in their community or enriching their students' education a reality.
The community wants to garden, they want fresh vegetables. I needed to be involved with helping the community establish that so they could eat healthy, make those things available to them. Eat it, yeah.
Most of my work with Gateway Greening is being a liaison for the community gardens that are in my neighborhood. Our neighborhood here in the Del Mar Loop has a neighborhood association. That's for the subdivision. They actually were the impetus for this first garden and the other two gardens. They're all in the same neighborhood, the Parkview Gardens neighborhood. Syracuse Garden, the other two gardens in our neighborhood, are amazingly helpful. Initially, back in the 90s, late 80s, when we had a lot of crime in the neighborhood, it was really a way to get information. You come down to the garden and you talk to your neighbor about what was happening. That was one way that it brought the community together.
I've heard many people put the neighborhood roughneck kids to work in the garden, and then they protect the garden. Then they don't want anybody to mess around with it. These are the kids that would have been stealing the tomatoes and throwing them, and instead they're like, what are you doing in there? You know, they protect it. Wow, that's just fantastic.
We have 2 youth educators that go to schools as frequently as once a week and teach lessons.
Gabby, tell me.
They're also educating teachers on how to use the garden.
So I'm a garden leader at Mallinckrodt Community Garden. The garden has had a really positive impact on how healthy they eat, how healthy their lifestyle is.
All right, and then we just have to wait for the water to boil. I'm a youth educator, which means I go during the school year to 3 different schools around St. Louis City and use their gardens as a classroom for several of their classes. I work mainly with St. Louis Public Schools, and many students in those schools, I think 88% are eligible for free and reduced lunch. 20% of those students at any given time are experiencing homelessness.
Students do need interaction with a gardener, with outdoors, and it's not possible without Gateway Greening.
The roots bring water to all the plants.
The ability for students to cooperate and work together really goes up over the school year. They really learn a lot about sharing work and working together peacefully in the garden.
It brings them close to nature instead of having kids sit in front of a computer playing video games all day long.
That looks beautiful. That's almost ready.
Call them. Say, girls. And I wanted to give them the best opportunities to get out, meet people, and socialize. A lot of times with autism, particularly if your children are nonverbal, just say, come on, and let them experience the world on their terms, in their way, and just to know what normal is. And that's what I found when I came to the garden.
Ready? Watch the hole.
The more you tell him, Khalil, water the ground, the more he waters the plant. So you just let it go and it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Ready?
Feeding the chickens, washing out the water bucket and hanging it back, or giving a scoop of food in a feeder. And he knows to be gentle around plants. He knows that this is active caregiving. All right, kiddo.
It was brought to my attention through the St. Patrick Center that they had a therapeutic program, which is on an urban farm here in downtown St. Louis, and that I'd be a good candidate for it.
We have clients at the farm who will tell you that the program changed their life, that if not for their time in City Seeds, they weren't sure where they would have ended up, but it gave them a new outlook on life. It gave them the soft skills to deal with other people and the hard skills to go get a job.
And when I had almost nothing, and one of my counselors at St. Patrick Center was like, hey, you know about City Seeds? To me, it was work, and any opportunity to work was good. When you're homeless, you're cut off. People don't see you, they don't recognize you, they don't want to acknowledge you exist. It's true. But the thing I noticed about working at Gateway Greening and working at City Seeds is that's the first time as a homeless person you really get respected. I mean, I'm so sad that this is coming to an end.
The heart of the program is the maintenance and care of a 2.5 acre farm. And we work with St. Patrick Center clients in two different ways. One track, about 50 clients a year come through the therapeutic track. These are individuals that are dealing with the issues of homelessness. So City Seeds and their time there is used really to help them with their therapy plan, to help them with their recovery plan, and get them to a point that they could then go into a job training program or the next phase of their recovery.
They fulfill this need you have because it's a part of themselves that feels fulfilled when they take care of their plants.
We were all sharing a common bond to where we all started getting attached to these plants, and the amazing process that not only the plants were going through, but we were in ourselves just experiencing the growth and the change.
So Gateway Greening taught me how to live a longer, healthier, happier life.
I'm sure, has everybody sauteed greens before? Our role in the partnership with Gateway Greening, specifically with the City Seeds farmers, is to educate them not only on how to prepare the food, but also just general information on how to use it, how to store it, and the health benefits to it and things like that. We just utilize whatever produce they've harvested that week, and we make 2 or 3 recipes so that they can get some idea of what to actually do with that. So one of the recipes we prepared at our most recent cooking demonstration was a veggie quesadilla. Gateway Greening is fantastic at what they do with all of their gardening education, and so our strength is the culinary aspect and the nutritional aspect of things. We have our distinct strengths, and so when we put those together, it's a natural pair.
The garden summits have been an amazing opportunity to hear not just from local people, but people throughout the country.
Pursuing new relationships that might...
So they had a panel with 4 people, and there were 2 other community gardeners there as well. We talked about the history of the McPherson Garden and some of the things that we learned from Gateway Greening, the different gifts that they've given us in terms of materials, but more so in terms of knowledge and classes.
You always start with clean hands, and of course you want to sterilize all of your tools.
They also have stuff online, training videos and things like that that are just extremely helpful. How to plant things, when to plant things. Not only are they good information, but they're just good people.
Thankfully, the leadership of St. Louis County Library has seen a need to activate the outdoor spaces of the libraries.
Beehive and a scarecrow.
Farm Dog is a block party that we hold every year in partnership with Stray Rescue, which is a pet adoption agency down the street from our office. Music, food trucks, pet adoptions, and I'll be leading some workshops for kids at City Seeds Urban Farm.
Follow me, everybody!
Every year for the last 10 years, Gateway Greening has given a gift back to the city of St. Louis, which is our Downtown Civic Greening Project. It focuses on the Market Street median and Keener Plaza. Gateway Greening while we support community, we are a community. It's a community of volunteers. They come out to give back to the community and connect with St. Louis through the projects of Gateway Greening.
And everywhere in the city of St. Louis that Gateway Greening is, you see food, you see beauty, and you see things that would not be there if they didn't exist.
Gardens don't just grow vegetables. They grow relationships, and they grow community, and they grow connection.
Thank you.